Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well, having a good day. We've spoken a lot of times here about rankings and how people get rated in ways that don't make much sense to lots of us. Well, it's happened again. I think we can see the plan here. But it's happened again, this time with the WBO. WBO heavyweight ratings. I'll go in reverse order. So at number 10, they have David Adelaide. British champion. I wouldn't put him as the 10th best heavyweights in the world, but this is the WBO. Number 9, Vladislav Serenko, 22-0, in at number 9. Number 8, Murat Gassiev, 31-2. Number 7, the good old Del Boy himself, Derek Chisora. 36-13, old warhorse. Number 6, Anthony Joshua. We were talking about AJ the other day when we were talking about the ring rankings. I think they ranked him at number 5, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And we were saying, you know, it's sort of hard to find the right spot for AJ. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Back to the WBO, ahead of Anthony Joshua, who is number 6, we've got Jared Anderson at number 5. Again, hard to understand. If AJ and Jared Anderson were going to fight tomorrow, I would definitely be putting money on AJ. Jared Anderson was given a very bad beating by Martin Bakole and totally failed to shine his last time out. Anyways, it is what it is. Number 4, Lawrence Okoli. Number 3, Zhilei Zhang. Number 2, Filip Hrgovic. Number 1, Moses Itauma. The champion is, of course, Alexander Usyk, and I think they have they have an interim champion, and that's Joe Parker. But putting Moses in as number 1 certainly opens the door for him to be able to compete for a version of the championship. If Usyk prevails over Dubois, I would imagine there'd be no need for yet another fight. And so we could see a situation where perhaps Moses and Joseph Parker fight for the right to fight Alexander Usyk. Perhaps somehow Moses is elevated into some position. If Dubois wins, then I would imagine that the belts will scatter at some point, and maybe Joe Parker and Moses fight for the WBO championship. I really don't know. I would imagine if Dubois wins against Usyk on July the 19th, there will be an opportunity for Usyk to get that revenge. It'll be a trilogy, right? One all, and have one to decide the rubber match, if you like. It would be inconceivable that a champion of Usyk's caliber wouldn't be given a chance, right? But maybe the rest of the belts get scattered because, the WBO jump up and down and say to Dubois, you've got to defend your WBO. Dubois says, no, I'm focusing on the Usyk rematch. Let the WBO belts go. Moses and Parker fight for that. And bingo, bango, bongo, if everything goes the way that Frank Warren wants it to go, Moses Itauma becomes a world champion. Then if Dubois, wins again, you could see a situation where Frank Warren controls both the unified champion in Dubois and the WBO champion in Moses. Frank is saying, more beer for me. He's happy, right? Anyways, you can see how that's being done. It's a ridiculous ranking. If we go on merit, it's a ridiculous ranking. But as we've said before, Derek Chisora is number 2 in the IBF. Fabio Wardley is number 1 in the WBA. What can we do, right? Lawrence Okoli is number 1 in the WBC. And the Ring magazine, which I've always relied upon to be that sort of voice of reason, it's got Tyson Fury as number 1. The guy's retired. Personally, I want to pencil in Lennox Lewis or Larry Holmes. They're both retired as well. Anyways, before we leave the story of Moses Itauma, there's a bit of a spat. That's the right word. Bit of a spat between Frank Darth Warren and wee Billy Nelson. I think Frank Warren's sort of started it or whatever. I think maybe Moses Itauma started it. He was talking about Bakole's last outing as being trash against Effie at Jagba. I wouldn't say it was trash, but hey, it wasn't good. And Bakole was lucky to get the draw. Anyhow, Billy Nelson said something about Moses Itauma having potentially a untested or weak chin, a wee bit of glass there. And Frank Warren was asked on Box Nation what he thought of this. Well, Frank Warren, of course, who cares what Billy Nelson says, according to Frank Warren. I'm sick to death of hearing about Bakole. And then he was poo-pooing Bakole. He said, oh yeah, what did he do? He broke someone's nose in sparring, or he's just completely, dismissive of Bakole, saying, what did he do? His last 2 fights, he got poleaxed by Joseph Parker, which was true, and this was always going to be the story, right? No one's going to remember the fact he flew for 48 hours solid or something. And then he didn't do well against a Jagba. So, Bakole should go and have another big fight and then come back and talk to me. And when the interviewer said that Billy Nelson had said that Bakole was having a big fight, Frank Warren poured water on that as well. He said, the big fight is in July, undisputed. And everybody else who's a number 1 works with me. So it's not such a big fight. And sort of poo-pooed Bakole's claims that he's going to have a big fight this summer. I think that's all really. Oh, one other thing, totally unrelated to Moses Itauma, totally unrelated to the subject matter of this video, but it's amusing me anyhow. Eddie Hearn said that Dave Allen can beat Deontay Wilder. Maybe. Deontay Wilder is so shot that maybe anybody can beat him. It also reflects very poorly on Deontay Wilder's legacy, I suppose, that while he's still active, people are saying that, journeyman can beat him. I guess in a way, Fury's victories over Wilder haven't aged as well as Fury would no doubt like them to be. Anyways, I'll leave that there. No point in gratuitous criticism of the great Tyson Fury. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button. I've been told that YouTube algorithm apparently counts such things. Bizarre. Maybe there's people there counting the likes. Please share, please subscribe, and most importantly, Have a fabulous day wherever you are. Thanks for watching, as always. Bye-bye now.